Introduction. Amazingly important part. And it works very different. You're doing a written sales letter, your introduction is your headline. Pure and simple. You're doing a VSL, your introduction is your first 10 seconds. You got 10, 15 seconds max. Why? Because you just disrupted somebody's day to deliver them a message, and they are on the clock. Make it happen. Why should I pay attention right now? Talk to me. All right? You don't got much time because that back button is so easy. So in traditional copywriting, I always say traditional copywriting from 15, 20 years ago where they wrote direct sales letters, I find it to be very different than what it is today. And the reason is, traditional sales letters, you got it in the mail, you opened it, you sat down, you put your reading glasses on, and you pulled it in front of you. You just committed. If they don't catch you in 10 seconds, it's okay. You went through a lot of effort to sit down and put your reading glasses on, you're gonna give them another page or two. All right, online? No, back button. I'm out. Now, webinars. Why do I love webinars? Think about a webinar. Someone saw the message, they thought about it, said, what am I doing on Monday at 3 p.m.? Check my calendar. Okay, register. Then they got an email again about it. Hey, it's coming up. They got an email again about it. Hey, it's coming up. Then on Monday at 2:50, they said to their wife or husband, hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go. I'm on this webinar. Please keep everyone quiet. Tell the dogs to be quiet. Close the door. Don't bother me. They go into their office. They put their computer on. They log into the webinar. Are they gonna leave just because the first 10 seconds of your webinar stinks? No, you have about 5 minutes on a webinar. It's a lot more room for margin for error, which is why I love webinars. So introduction is supposed to do pure and simple. What the heck am I going to get from you today? Today, in the next 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, what are you going to give me? Straight to the point. That's why headlines are what they are. All right, next, story. Big mistake I see people making. So this is a key thing. Take this away, okay? This is huge. Now, I've never seen this taught in any copywriting program I've ever been to, and I've been to massively expensive workshops. Biggest mistake people make with story is they talk about themselves. Hate to tell you, but ain't nobody care. That's what we think, right? You think, Anik, you spoke about yourself when you started this presentation. Did I? Who was the real star? What was the real star of my story? No. Copywriting. This is a really, really, really interesting concept you've got to learn. Who's the hero of your story? Is it you or is it your product? People make themselves the hero and make the product the sidekick. You've got to make the product the hero and make yourself the sidekick. You are simply a facilitator that made the product happen. You said that was good? Yeah, okay. All right, good. So why do you do that? Because they're not buying you at the end of that. Okay? They're not buying you. So if you make them want you and then you give them the next best thing, that's not a great positioning to be in. You want to position the thing that they actually get to have at the end. So in your story, if you had, every good story has got the hero and the villain and your Robin, your sidekick. If there's Batman, Robin, and Joker, you're Robin. Always think of that. You're just there helping out the main guy win the battle. And you are so fortunate to have had that opportunity. You're the one who's lucky and blessed. You're not the person who is almighty hero, made it happen. Okay, now, there are a lot of marketers who sell that way. There really are, and they do fine. They do well. It's just not what I find to be the long-term huge thing. It's not the long-term way to be successful. A story is, again, like I told you, the key parts of a story, take them through the emotions. Key parts of a story are to deliver the value of the product. They tell you how they discovered the product, what the product has done for them, or the concept you're going to share has done for them. So obviously, by the way, in the story, you should never talk about your product directly. It's a little too transparent. It's a little weird. You should be talking about the theory behind the product, right? So in the case of the diffuser, it's not what the diffuser did for me. It's what this form of treatment, this essential oils and all these, what that did for me. So you ease them into wanting the diffuser because that ends up being the only thing between them and health is this physical object to diffuse the oil. So a story is really, really important. Now, how long should you spend on each of these? Guys, it just depends. If you're doing a written sales letter, VSL, or a webinar, they're very different numbers. All right? So in a VSL, I'm not going to spend more than 5 minutes max on a story. And that, again, takes into account that my VSL is 20 to 25 minutes. In a webinar, 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. There used to be a day you could do 30 minutes on the story. People loved it. Today, the audience is starting to really lose their attention span because webinars are happening all over the place. I mean, how many webinars could you, just look at your email, how many webinars are happening this week that you could be a part of? Exactly. Right? So when you get on a webinar, your attention spans are going less. You're like, dude, get to it because, man, there are 3 other ones I could bounce onto right now. So a story is incredibly important. Now, the next thing I'll tell you when you make your presentation and you go from one part to the next, I saw an interview with Tony Robbins once where he said, always be selling. I thought, what is he talking about? Tony said, always be selling. Tony is always selling. And if you think about a launch, you guys have all seen product launches. You wouldn't be in this room if you haven't. You've participated in many of them as a consumer. What's the theory behind a pre-launch? You come to an opt-in page, it sells you on getting into the free report. Go to the free report, it sells you into watching video 1. You watch video 1, it sells you into watching video 2 or webinar 2. You go through that, it sells you. You sell the person through your funnel, always. As soon as you buy the product, that main product starts to sell you the upsell. As soon as you buy the upsell, that upsell, even in the teaching and coaching and training of it, sells you the next thing, right? When you meet someone and you talk to them and they say, hi, I'm Melissa, and you say, hi, I'm John. What do you do, Melissa? I do blah, 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 blah. I'm a so-and-so. And so what are you doing? You're selling. You're selling yourself. You're convincing that person that they should continue to have a conversation with you because you're valuable, right? So always be selling. It's not bad to sell. You're just always in that zone. You're always in that mode because you keep an eye on what's next. You know what path you want to take this person down. So your story is essentially selling the content. Makes the transition super easy. So you go from story to content. Now you get into content, and I always say the best type of content is structured content. 5 steps to, 6 parts of a model, 7 things to do, 3 things to do, 3 major parts of this. It's just linear. We think linear. Most minds are very linear. Right? We like to start here and end here. We like the beginning and the end. So when you start to do training, if you're doing very open-ended training, those are great for just like your weekly Q&A calls, your weekly customer touch calls. Those are awesome because people just get to chat, they get to hear random thoughts from you. But when you want the end goal to be a sale, you need to make them feel like they went in a journey with you and they finished it. So there are 3 parts to this. They learned the 3 parts. All right, here's another little tip on how to create great content that sells. How to create content that sells. Never ever teach the how. The point of content in a sales pitch, not in your course, in the sales pitch, is to create an aha moment. Okay? So you're going through content. Let's look at the Publish Academy pitch, the content. There was a part where I talked about creating your own digital product, your own information product, right? My aha moment for that, everyone's heard that. Everyone's like, I know, information products, goody do. But I say, what if I told you a way to get it done in 10 days or less where you don't have to do the product? And someone says, I'm sorry, what? How do I do that? Oh, well, let me tell you a story of our student here. He'll tell you a story about how he went off to create $1,500 while building a product, letting other people to build product for him. And now you just had, aha, wow, I can do that? That's neat. But as soon as I get that aha, I move on. I don't teach you how to do it. If you teach someone how to do it in your sales presentation, you are going to destroy your conversions. Because what happens is, it's a good thing. They love you. They'll leave loving you. But what happens a lot of times is people think, man, I got to go do those 3 things. hey, tell you what, John, I love your presentation. Let me go do those 3 things. I'll come right back to you. And I'll be ready for your product then. We don't want that, right? So you never teach the how, you teach the what. You make sure they have an aha moment. And that aha moment leads them to believing, not really believing, but it leads them to know that they got value from your presentation. So you did good on your initial promise. You delivered. All right, so that is how you structure great content. Now, transition. Let's talk about transition, because from content, you're going to go to transition. And what you need during transition is one thing. Your transition has one goal, and that goal is permission to sell your product. Not just permission, but what's the word I'm looking for? The request. It's almost the other way around. You want that consumer saying, please give me that product. I know you've got something. Let's face it, guys. We all know that there's a pitch at the end, right? How many of you seriously don't get that yet? So let's just be honest, right? This is the new age of transparent marketing. You get on a webinar, you know someone's going to sell you something at the end. That's why I start my webinars nowadays and I say, I'm going to sell you something at the end. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, right? So they already know that. But what you want is, at the end, you want them to say, hey, I know you got something, man. Get to the point. I'm ready. Give me what you got. So during the transition, we're going to set up the value of this product. So I just taught you this system. I just shared with you what it took me 12 years to learn and to put together. Now I got to tell you, I've been doing so well with it. You know, I've been doing well with it for so long. I just thought I had 2 options in my life. I could either choose A, to continue to do it myself and do very well, love life and continue to build the life I wanted. Or I choose 2, which is to go back, give back, help other people, and make one of my biggest missions and dreams come true, which is to reach out to people and show them how to do this. But I hit a problem. As I wanted to reach out to people, I realized, well, I'm going to have expenses. There are going to be things I have to do, things I have to pay for, money that will go out of my pocket in order to make this dream happen. Then I started to look at all the pieces I would have to put together to make this happen. You know, I realized there are 3 things you need if you want to succeed in this. You need this, and you need this. You guys see what I just did? I just went right into pitch. And that whole time you're thinking, dude, don't take option 1, please, man. You got to help me out here. You know, don't go. You know I'm not going anywhere. You know I'm going to be, I wouldn't be talking to you if I still had something to pitch to you at the end. But I'm getting your permission. I'm making you take that journey with me where I created the product. Because once you take that journey with me, you don't want to. That's like climbing a mountain with a flag in your hand, getting to the top, and just going, I'm not going to plant this, and walking down. Who's going to do that? Nobody wants to do that. So the more you engage your viewers or your prospects into taking that journey with you through the process of creation, through the process of value, they just can't not buy at the end because it feels to them like they didn't plant the flag. They got to the end, they got to the top of the mountain, and just didn't plant the flag, which they had in their hand the whole time. Right? That's the feeling you want to create. Now, the other thing I see a lot, I see this all the time, especially on webinars, it drives me nuts. It comes back to that shameful embarrassment feeling of selling. So people have high energy during the presentation. They're excited, they're teaching, they're talking, they're training, they're giving their best stuff out. And then, so it's like high energy, and it comes to, all right, well, I want to tell you now about a product that I have that I really think you could be very, very helpful for you. I don't know, if you want it. I mean, let me just talk about it. Right? I have 5 modules, 15 hours of video, and 32 pages of worksheets that you can go through. And it's like, what the... A person can feel that. A person watching gets that you are not happy about selling them your product. If you're not happy about selling your product, why would I buy your product? You're not even happy about it. Go to a car dealer and see if that dealer says, yeah, I don't know, man. You take it for a drive, I guess. It's all right. It's a nice car. You should check out the Porsche down the road. No, they were not going to do that. And they get in front of you, dance around them. This is the best thing freaking ever made. This is the best car, right? So energy level has got to either stay at par or it's got to go up. Watch my presentations. My energy level goes up. Our team has a huge joke. I yell. I start yelling. I love it. I get excited because I love seeing those sales come in. Not because, I just made some money. That's nice too. but there's a point in your life where that doesn't make as much of an impact on you. It's the fact that somebody just did something. Oh my God, somebody took action. Oh my God, someone's actually listening to me. And that makes my energy levels go higher and higher and higher. So in your pitch, I'm going to go through this really quickly so that we can finish this session up, but the pitch follows a very specific model. And in that pitch, the first thing you want to do is break down what people need to succeed into very, very easy to digest chunks. All right, so this is where we get away from you need to watch 32 modules of videos. What are the 3 things you need to succeed? What are the 3 things that help me succeed? So in my example of my business, it's training, community, tools. Right? Keeping it simple. Someone listens to that, says, well, that makes sense. Training, community, tools. That's what I need. So, all right, what about it? Well, I went out, journeyed out, and figured it out for you. I got the training, I got the community, and I got the tools. What's really funny about a pitch is that every strong pitch spends the least amount of time on the main product. It's kind of crazy, but it's true. So what I do is training. Okay, here's how a traditional person would sell training. They'd say, my training is 10 modules, 5 modules, whatever, and you get to go through blah, 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 blah. Well, here's what I say. I break it down into 6 things that you get in the training. You get step-by-step videos. That is its own value attached to it. You get assignments that literally help you build your business as you go. That's its own value attached to it. You get weekly calls with our coaches. That's its own value. And I'm going to go through that slide in about a total of 1 minute. I don't need to get into what step-by-step videos means. You know what? Sometimes when we over-explain something, we outsell somebody. We just sell them right out of the product.